My name is Michelle Nelson, and I'm the social media content specialist here at Field Routes. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us for Finding Your Company's Sweet Spot and Firing Customers That Don't Fit, the encore presentation of our two-part series featuring Christeen Era, co-founder of Green Profit Academy. Before we get started, though, I'll give you a little bit of background on her. Christeen Era is an accounting and consulting professional who has helped hundreds of small and mid sized field service businesses improve their cash flow, post higher profits, and achieve stronger growth. In her book, Profit First, Era provides an industry specific toolbox to help field service business owners manage their expenses and increase their gross profit margins to as high as 65%. She also identifies industry best practices and exposes hidden bleeds that kill profits. ERA also provides assessments that offer a clear, accurate snapshot of a business's operations and maps out a road to success in which owners can identify their best customers and most profitable services. Era is not only passionate about helping her clients flourish and grow, but she is also a certified accounting professional, a certified mastery level profit first professional, certified pumpkin plan strategist, and fix this next advisor. Welcome, Christeen.
Thank you, Michelle. I am happy to be here today, and I love the topic that we're going to present on. So today we're going to be talking about from good to great, identifying and firing ideal versus bad customers. So our agenda, we're going to be going over ideal customers, who they are, and how to identify them. Don't be afraid to fire bad customers and how to do it. The survival trap, how to avoid it, identifying your company's profit center, leveraging the opportunities to generate more profit with less work, determining the sweet spot of your business, and we'll be providing a free assessment in order for you to do that. All right, you all know who I am, so we're going to get started here. Ideal customers are those who are most likely to buy your product or service, engage with your brand, and become long-time customers. Identifying your ideal customer is critical for any business because it allows you to design your products, brand messaging, and marketing strategies around their needs and preferences. To identify your ideal customer, consider the following factors. Demographic data. We want to look at age, gender, income, education, job title, geographic location, marital status, and family size. All of these are important factors to consider. We also want to look at personality traits, values, lifestyles, attributes, interests, and hobbies. These are all factors that can help identify your ideal customers as well. We look at behavioral data. So purchase history, frequency of purchase, buying behaviors and patterns. All of these are important to consider as well. Pain points and challenges is another area to really look at and listen to. So understanding your ideal customers' challenges and pain points can help you tailor your marketing message and product offering to address their specific needs. Communication channels as well. So analyzing the communication channels your ideal customer uses can help you develop targeted marketing campaigns. These could be, Facebook, magazines, local papers, or blogs. So it might help you to write some blogs about why they might want your services. Educate your customers along the channel so they know in your marketing why they need you and what do you address for their needs. So using customer data analytic tools and conducting marketing research can also help you identify your ideal customers. Once you have determined who they are, you can create target market campaigns and personalized experience to engage and retain them. So we are going to go ahead and do our first polling question, which is, how do you typically acquire new ideal customers? Okay, and I think we're going to tie up the poll here. All right. So referrals come in at number 1, and then we have all of the above, or other, as tied. Okay, so what customers are not ideal? So customers who consume too much of your resources, require too much handholding, or give too little return on investment. So these are going to be customers that you're going to start identifying with, that you're saying, okay, this is too much. We spend too much time. We're not making enough money. And these is an easy way to connect with your clients who are not ideal. So how do you fire bad customers? I want to talk about that for a minute. So what you want to do is start with assessing the impact of these customers on your business. You want to consider the cost to serve them. So how much is it costing them to serve these customers? And this may include things like going back to the property because they have complaints, having to redo the work or fix things because it's not up to their level of service, but you know your team is producing a good product or service. So the amount and time and effort that they demand. So this falls into that same category. What are they asking of you? And do they continue to what I call scope creep? So continue to ask for services outside of what you are providing. So they always want a little more that's not included in what you already do. And the potential for negative word of mouth. So this is another issue, and we refer to these as the chirpers. So they'll complain and complain and complain. And then the next thing you know, they're leaving you some negative reviews on social media, maybe on your Google, that you know you and your team have gone above and beyond to do everything possible to satisfy them. So you want to attempt to resolve any issues with the customer before making a final decision to let them go. And I always like to refer to this, you know, is it a trend or, you know, just an issue? So is it something that's constantly happening to where it's a trending, or is it a one-off, you know, every once in a while situation to where, you know, it was just not a good day, or maybe one of your technicians didn't show up, you know, in his best day? So you want to communicate with the customer and find out what the challenge or issue is. So if there is something wrong, you know, I always suggest take a deep breath, because we all have these other stressors going on in our company, and talk to the customer and find out, you know, if it's a trend or an event. Is it something constantly happening? And if so, what's causing it? Or is it a one-off situation that you can easily solve with just maybe a little training with your technicians, you know, or even educating the customer on how your team shows up? And the next step is, here we go, educate the customer on the service expectations. So I've found over the years in working with the trade industries that there is a big gap between what we as the owner are communicating of what we do, how we do it, and how we're going to show up, and then how we want our team to do things and to show up, and what the customer should expect from the service offerings that we have. So really take the time to look at how can we educate our customer so there are less issues, and some of these customers that are okay turn into fantastic customers for us. And even creating the opportunity to set the team up for success, educate your team on the expectations. and continuously communicate it, not just once or twice when they get hired, but talk about it all the time and make sure it's part of the conversation in your business. And this last one is create a systemized exit plan. So we want to minimize the impact on the business. And this is with our team and the customer. So how are we going to offboard these customers who are not ideal? You know, as much as we might want to just kick them to the curb, it's not a relationship builder to just say, hey, we're done with you, get out of here. We want to show up as our best self and represent our team and our business and make sure that you know, we can get rid of the customer in a reasonable way. So we can offer a reasonable or fair end of service date for them and just know like soon it will be over. And if possible, address their concerns and create a win-win as well. So even if you're exiting the relationship, what can you do to exit in a positive manner? So at least you know you've always shown up as your best, and your team will see how you're making sure you and your company show up to represent your brand. So the next thing I want to talk about is the survival trap. And this is something that we discuss a lot with business owners. And I think we've all been here. So what distracts us from generating profit in our businesses? So if we look at this particular slide here, this you'll see this is a survival trap. It's a coping strategy that takes entrepreneurs away from their ultimate vision. So where we really want to be in our business and how we want it to look and operate. Entrepreneurs will fall into the survival trap when they move away from focusing on achieving their ultimate vision and instead do whatever it takes in the moment to stay afloat financially, meet deadlines, and resolve employee or customer issues. So those caught in the survival trap believe that solving a crisis or urgent issue in any way they can is a good thing because it saves the business. And in reality, it really has the opposite effect. So if we look at this figure, it shows many of the things that businesses do out of desperation that do not move the business towards its ultimate vision. So instead, they waste valuable resources and energy. Ideally, you want to move from point A, your crisis point, to point B, your vision. But when you're caught up in the survival trap, you move away from your vision. And some of the things that you might find yourself doing is offering a new product for immediate revenue, take on an unfit project or even customer to fix this month's payroll or expenses, run a last minute promotion to generate quick cash. So this is an easy go-to, saying, hey, we'll give you a discount. Changing your terms, so make collection calls and find other ways to speed up the cash flow. And all of these really, they move you away from your vision and your profit. So we want to keep our eye on the prize and stay with what moves us towards our vision and stay away from those reactive actions that will, one, discount our services, create more chaos for our team, not allow us to show up as our best self when it comes to our brand, and also take us away from our long-term goal. So we're going to do our next polling question here. Do you feel you are primarily responsive or reactive when managing your business? Okay, so we're going to tie this up. If you haven't answered, pick one. All right, let's see what we have. So we have a 50-50 response is the winner. So half the time you feel that you're responsive, and the other half the time you feel that you're reactive. And that's not too uncommon. I'm glad to see it's more of a 50-50 split than, the whack-a-mole approach when it comes to managing your business. So now I want to talk about what a profit center is in your business. So a profit center, also known as a revenue center, is a department, branch, or segment of your business that generates revenue and incurs costs. The purpose of a profit center is to make a profit or generate positive cash flow for the company. And profit centers are typically used in business to evaluate the profitability of different services. So they are often given a budget and are responsible for managing their own expenses and revenue. And by measuring the point of each center, management can make informed decisions about where to invest resources and allocate funds. So as an example, and I want to take a minute to share an example, you may have a business that does lawn care services, pest control, and maybe some tree services and maintenance. So if you're tracking each one of these departments in your business, you may find that your lawn application is your highest profit center. So it's one of those services that everybody buys. It takes the less amount of labor and materials in your business, but the cost of what you're receiving from your customers, so the price point is high. So you might have like a 65% profit margin, but the other areas of your company, the pest control, the maintenance and the tree care, those may be less profit. So when you identify your profit center, you can see which one of your services that you're providing is really your breadwinner in your business. And then you can make decisions around this to where you can decide, now, do our ideal customers really purchase these other services? And do we need to provide them? Or can we move our resources somewhere else to where we can generate more profit and revenue in our business with little to less effort compared to our other areas of our business? So identifying your company's profit center, you want to analyze financial statements. So a profit center is part of the business that generates revenue and profit, which we just went over. So reviewing your income statements and your balance sheet can help you identify the areas that the business will have the highest revenue and profit margins. And this is where it's important to, at some point in time in your business, if you don't have it done already, you want to separate out these different sources of revenue and costs in your business so it's really easy for you to track them. So that way your accounting system is really doing the work for you. And also your project management system is doing it for you to where you can easily run reports and see, well, what's the cost in this department and what revenues is it generating for us? And do we have a healthy profit margin? And if we don't, what can we do to change it? So you're going to determine your revenue streams. You want to identify the source of income for the business. So the profit centers are typically the area of the business that generate the most revenue. So in the example I gave, it could be lawn application to where you're saying, hey, this is our most profitable revenue. What can we do to get more customers? And where can we cut the fat in the business to produce more of this type of revenue? So you're also going to assess the cost structure. So determine the costs associated with each of these areas in your business. So profit centers are typically the area with the lowest cost as they generate the most profit margins. You're going to check your sales data. So analyze the sales data from each product or service offered by your business. The products or services with the highest sales are likely to be your profit center. And evaluate customer behaviors. So understanding your customer behavior and preferences can help identify the areas of the business that generate the most revenue and profits. Your ideal customers will come to you and ask for those services. So they'll typically sign up for everything, but they'll sign up for the best offering that you have, and it's usually your highest price point. So identifying the profit centers can help the business focus on its resources and energy in those areas to maximize its profitability. So we're going to go ahead and do our third polling question. And I want to get an idea of our companies here today. So how big is your business? And this is just based on your revenue, your top line revenue. All right, so we're going to tie up this poll. If you haven't answered, go ahead and do so now. Okay, so we have a tie between 0 and 250,000 and 501 million. Okay, so how do you leverage the opportunities to generate more profit with less work? I think this is kind of a golden question that all of us business owners have. Like, how do we get more without doing more? So here's some tips I want to go over on areas that you can look at. So automating processes, and this is an area that I love. I love utilizing your software that you have in place, because typically, you know, you're at max utilizing 80% of your software to manage your business. So automating processes, you want to use tools and software to automate repetitive tasks such as invoicing, order tracking, email marketing, and even more. And I know Field Routes has several opportunities in their software where they've thought of this in advance on a done for you process to get these set up. And what it does is it saves time and it reduces the need for your team, so man hours. So what it's doing is when you leverage those opportunities for automation in your business, you're minimizing the need for more personnel to manage time in your company when it comes to tasks. So you're really creating capacity in your business. And that alone can create profit because you're not spending as much to get as much. So outsource non-essential tasks. And this is one of the topics I call, you know, the champion. Like, are you the champion of this? And if you're the business owner, your answer should be, no, I am not the champion of this. Because as business owners, we have enough to do on a daily basis. And we really want to outsource things, whether we're delegating it to our team or we hire a professional because they'll actually get it done at a faster rate. So delegate non-essential tasks to third-party service providers, freelancers, or contractors to reduce your staffing costs and free up management's time to focus on the more important responsibilities in your business. And that might even be building out your software and your automations that you have. So really lean into the resources that you have around you and just at least have the conversation and entertain it. So optimize productivity, implement training programs, and provide resources to help employees become more productive, efficient, and effective in their job functions. And when we're talking about training programs, yes, it's important to have an onboarding system in your company to train your team on how you do things, you know, when you want them done and how you want them to show up and how to work with the rest of the team. But it's also one of those things where you might have to do it at the end of a season where you're reboarding your team. And maybe they take a little bit of time off because you have a down season or a flex season in your business. But also making it part of the conversation because, you know, after they've been there for a few months, some of these things they might forget. So take the opportunity, whether it be in weekly huddles or team meetings, to just share a few of these things and, just kind of put it front and center and talk about it. And it's not something you have to do. You could have a crew leader do it or a manager do this. And it's just saying, hey, what's most important? How do we show up? What do we want to do? The other thing is diversify revenue streams. So you may want to explore new markets or product lines to add to the mix. So creating a more diverse portfolio of income sources that can generate additional profits, but we don't want it to pull you away from your profit center. So the strategy behind that is make sure that you're maxed out on your profit center before you start diversifying your revenue streams, to an extreme. Maybe you're adding something that your customers really want, and it does contribute to the overall profit of your business, but be mindful that you're not spreading yourself too thin. The next one is streamline supply chain management. So optimize your supply chain by integrating it with suppliers, customers, and distributors to reduce waste, lower cost, and improve delivery times, improve customer retention. So you can offer incentives or reward programs to encourage customers to stick with your business and refer others. So boosting repeat business and reducing acquisition costs. And instead of asking for referrals, and this is something we've been talking about in some of our group coaching programs, the word introduction has really kind of indicated a lot more to not only the customers, but they ask, can you introduce us to somebody who would benefit from our services? So instead of asking for a referral, ask for an introduction. It's a different approach and it's not so salesy. It's more relationship based. The next step is raise your prices. So adjust pricing according to the market demand and the value of the products and services offered, which can significantly impact your revenue and profits. And I would say more than 80% of the clients that we start working with, their pricing is not accurate. It's not supporting their profit margins. They're bleeding profit because of it. And they're not doing a review of their costs and their fees when it comes to their labor burden and making sure they at least hit that break-even point in their business. So that's a lot of opportunity there, is making sure you're pricing correctly. And then explore new technologies. Excuse me. So stay ahead of the competition by consistently researching and adopting new technologies and innovations that can improve efficiency, reduce costs, and increase profits. Okay, so let's stop for a minute and talk about pumpkins. And I know this might sound kind of strange to stop and talk about giant pumpkins, but I promise this will make sense in a minute. So in the book, The Pumpkin Plan, A Simple Strategy to Grow a Remarkable Business in Any Field, best-selling author Mike Michalowicz tells us that if you want to grow a prize-winning giant pumpkin, you need to start with a prize-winning seed. So you cannot go to your local farm store I apologize, my voice is going here a little bit. So you can't go to your local farm store and buy a pack of pumpkin seeds, sprinkle a few in the ground, and expect a giant pumpkin to appear. As a matter of fact, you could do everything right in terms of planting, watering, and pruning and nurturing your pumpkin plant, but you still wouldn't get a giant pumpkin. And I think we probably all tried this as kids when we planted pumpkin seeds, and we wished our pumpkin would go, grow giant, just, as big as we were, and it just never happened. So the concept is the same for your business. So you need underlying business strategy that has the capacity to grow into an exceptional business. So that underlying strategy is your special seed, or we call it your sweet spot in your business. So does any of this sound familiar? I'm going to go over some of the sweet spot symptoms that you may be experiencing. You are doing all the right things, but your marketing is falling on deaf ears. You feel pressure from your customers, prospects, and competitors to lower your prices. You can't take on any more business because you can't work any more hours. Or you are feeling burned out and unsure how to continue to grow. So these are all symptoms of not being in the sweet spot of your business. As you can see from this diagram, there are 3 key elements of your business that intersect, and this is your sweet spot. So those 3 elements are your top customers, your unique offering, and your systems and processes. These 3 elements must be present and aligned with each other in order to grow your business. If you can't find your sweet spot and laser focus on growing it, then you have this. If you can find your sweet spot, you have the seed of a giant pumpkin, or in this case, the secret of growing a giant business. So you want all of these aligned in order for your sweet spot to be in place. And that's pretty much the secret sauce. So once you're operating in your sweet spot, you will experience organic growth, and growing your business will stop being so hard. So the first circle represented in the sweet spot diagram is your top customers. So these are your niche or your ideal customers. They are the ones that you want to focus your attention on. They are the customers that you would love to be able to clone over and over and over again. You always want more of them. So your top customers love what you offer and will buy from you over and over again. They are your most profitable customers, and you and your team will love working with them and serving them. They are not problem customers. So as a certified pumpkin plan strategist, when I work with my customers, I help them learn how to identify their top customers and how to clone them and fill their business with other customers just like them. This technique is a game changer. And once you figure out who your best customers are, they will care about you the most. So where you find them and where you can easily attract them to your business. So I'm going to do the next polling question. So the question is, how does your product or service solve the pain points or challenges of your ideal customer? All right, and we're going to tie this up in just a minute here. Okay, let's see what we have. So we have 77 of all of the above. All right, so the next one that we're going to talk about is the unique offering. So the next circle of this diagram, you'll see, if you're looking at it, the unique offering. So this is what you sell, how you sell it, and how you deliver it. It is what makes you stand out from the competition. It is the difference between what you offer and what everyone else in your industry is offering. So your vision, your business mission, and your immutable laws are all elements of your unique offering in addition to the product or service itself. So in the pumpkin plan, you learn about the area of innovation, and some people will call this your AOI. Also, one of the key elements of your unique offering. When your unique offering intersects with what your top customers want and need from you, that means that what makes you unique is a match to what your top customers are looking for, and you will experience high demand from that market. The third circle in the sweet spot diagram is systemization, which creates scalability. Scalability means that you have the ability to grow the production and or delivery of your unique offering exponentially. So by adding resources without dependence on any one specific person, such as the business owner. So this is the section of the diagram that is often most difficult for owners who founded their business by themselves based on a specific ability or talent. You may believe that no one else can create that product or deliver the service the same way that you are delivering it, and therefore the business cannot grow beyond what you can produce yourself. Sometimes the business model is not truly scalable, and other times the offering just needs to be tweaked a little bit in order to enable other people or automation or a combination of the two to produce it. You might be looking at these elements right now and be thinking, I have 2 out of 3. Will that work? If so, you're not alone. Many small businesses are in the same boat, but unfortunately, 2 out of 3 won't get you the organic growth that you're looking for. Here's what happens if you don't have all 3 of these elements. If you have a unique offering and the systems to scale that offering, but your top customers don't want it, then nobody cares about your product or service and you can't sell them. Some symptoms of not being aligned with your top customers would be if your marketing is falling on deaf ears, or you are not attracting the type of customers that you consider ideal. Another symptom would be if your current customers are not buying any new products or services that you are introducing. And as business owners, you might say, oh, I know they really need this, and we make the assumption that they need it, but then when we put it out there, they're not buying it. So if you don't know who your top customers are, or you don't understand what they want or need from you, or you don't know how to define and categorize them into a niche, and you don't know where to find them, growth will continue to be difficult. So what if you have no unique offering? If your offering can be systematized and your top customers want it, but it's not unique, then your offering essentially becomes a commodity. You don't stand out, so it's hard to get noticed. Your customers and your prospects can't distinguish you from your competitors, so they shop you on price. In this case, if you're not the lowest price, you will have a hard time selling your product or service, and you will be subject to constant price pressure and discounting. On the other side of the coin, if you can offer something competitively unique that your top customers really care about, then you're not subject to price pressure at all. So we're going to do I believe it's our last polling question here. What are some of the common objectives or barriers that your ideal customers face when considering your product or service? Okay, just another few seconds. We close out the poll. All right, let's see where we landed. So it looks like lack of perceived value. Yep, and that is a common one and is fairly easy to fix. It's a good one. Okay, so our last one here is you're not systematized. And this is typically where I find the most struggle in any business is them getting systems and processes in place to produce their product and services. So if you have a unique offering that your top customers want, but you don't have the systems in place to handle further growth, then you can't scale it. Your systems can consist of written processes that employees can follow, as well as automation. If you don't have systems that enable you to deliver a consistent quality of products and services to your customers without you or any specific person involved, you will always be trading dollars for hours. If you keep your processes in your head, like most of us do, or in a key employee's head, you will never grow beyond what you, the business owner, can do yourself, and you will be exceptionally dependent on specific employees. You'll be forever tied to your business, unable to take an unplugged vacation or leave for more than a day or two. So I want to share with you a story of someone who implemented this process. So this is why all three of the elements of the sweet spot must be present in order for your business to grow. So an example of this and how it works is one of the clients that I've worked with for years. His name is Don Zerby. He's the founder of Eco Lawn, provides lawn care services in Northeast Ohio. And he's been doing this business since he was about 14 years old. So I would say the early 70s is when he started. So when Don started his business, he would take on any type of lawn care service for any type of customer. He did have customers who loved him, but he was not in high demand, had trouble standing out from other lawn care professionals, and as a result was experiencing price pressure. Don went through the customer assessment analysis, which is a tool that we use in the Pumpkin Plan, and realized that his very best customer had something in common. So all of them that were his best people, they all shared something. They were busy individuals who wanted the best lawn care they ever had. Lawn they wanted to wiggle their toes in. So they wanted soft, fluffy lawn in their yard. The services he provided allowed them to manage the basics with their lawn care while still getting that noticeably thicker, greener lawn they couldn't grow themselves. Once he realized this, Don put all of his focus and his marketing into developing a unique offering that would appeal to his top customers who dreamed of green, fluffy lawns. His business started booming, but there was still something missing. If Don had to do all the work himself, his business would soon be at capacity and unable to continue to grow. So Don started documenting his systems and processes around the services they provided, which enabled him to bring on a team of lawn care technicians who not only could run multiple routes at once, but delivered the services consistently. So Don had found his sweet spot, and his business took off with sales and profits tripling over a 3-year period. So you might be wondering, how do I know if I'm already operating in my sweet spot, or if not, what piece is missing? So today I'm going to offer you a free sweet spot assessment. This assessment will give you the insight you need to take the actions that will grow it. So the sweet spot assessment will help you find the answers to the questions around your business's sweet spot. So it's pretty simple. You answer 9 questions in the assessment. And if you'd like, you can book a strategy session here with us at Green Profit Academy to review your results. But the online sweet spot assessment also gives you some results and tells you kind of what's going on. So it lists your symptoms and what you should focus on. And I would highly suggest be honest and don't overthink your answers in general. If all your answers are a 5, then congratulations, you're on the right track with your sweet spot. If all of your answers are 1s, then you have some work to do. If you are like most businesses, you will have a mixture of responses, and this assessment will show you where you are already strong and what areas you want to focus on improving in your business. So you can scan this QR code, and that will get you to the assessment online. And we also have a link as well. So our next steps, feel free to reach out for your sweet spot assessment, complete your sweet spot assessment online. And as well, I would say while you're there, take a profit assessment. That's a free tool that we offer too, and we will reach out and unpack your results. And if you'd like to get a copy of the book, it is focused towards lawn care and landscape, but I have many different industries that have contacted me and said, hey, I'm using these tools and they have changed my business. So the information is in there is applicable to service industries. Okay, well, I want to thank everyone who attended today, and I'm going to turn this back over to our co-hosts at Field Routes.
Well, we thank you so much for that helpful information. And I'm guessing that our audience has some questions for you. So, everyone, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and submit any questions that you have for our speaker using the Q&A dialog box on the side of your screen. She will answer as many questions as possible in the time that we have left. And while you're doing that, I'll ask that Lynn, our moderator, highlight the button at the bottom of your screen where you can sign up for a free demo of Field Routes. For anyone who is not already a Field Routes customer, this is a great opportunity to experience our operations and marketing suites firsthand. More information about Green Profit Academy may be found via the links beneath Christeen's picture on the right side of your screen. For free Profit First and Sweet Spot assessments, along with a complimentary consultation, watch Christeen's slides for the link. All right, so our first question is, let me take a look. What steps would I take to start identifying my ideal customers?
Yes, so that is a part of the ideal customer assessment. And what we do in that assessment is we look at your existing customers base and we identify the ones who are most profitable and easiest to work with. So if you have thousands of customers, you want to kind of cherry pick ones that you already know are a pleasure to work with and look at how profitable are they, what is it about them that makes it easy to work with them. And you want to analyze their demographics. So the next step is look at their demographics. What are their pain points? Why did they hire you to begin with? What problems were you solving for them? Also look at their behavior. When you go out to this customer's property, what are you finding that's similar with them? And even take a moment to talk to them and understand maybe it's something they do. It could be their profession, and also look at their purchasing patterns. So are they calling you up every time you send out a certain technician to their property? Or is it when you're sending out some sort of promotional piece? So look at their purchasing patterns as well. And you're going to use this information to create a customer persona, or some of you might be familiar with it as like an avatar. And you might have a few different ones. We have fun with naming these avatars or these customer personas to where we have these different customers out there that we work with. And they have a few little different personality traits and backgrounds that explain why they buy from us. So you also want to use your marketing strategy to attract more of these ideal clients. So once you have identified them and you get an idea of who they are, why they're buying for you, you can build a marketing strategy behind that and start working to set up your marketing system to cater to those. So it's not something that you have to do yourself.
Great. Question number 2. When should a business start working on setting up systems?
Yeah, that is a question we don't always like the answer to. So right away, so as early as possible, you want to start setting up the systems. It's ideal in the startup phase to start setting up the basic systems in your business. But if you haven't done that yet, then I would say focus on different areas of the business. So it's most important to establish, your business to be efficient and effective when it comes to your systems with smooth operations, and focus on the areas where that are most important, like where are you having the most trouble or friction in your business, um, and start focusing on those areas first. Or it might even be a strategy to where you want to start handing certain tasks over to, let's say an office manager or a manager that you're bringing into the company, or a lead crew person. So start with those systems, the ones that's going to get you the most traction in the place that you are in now in your business.
Very good. What strategies do you suggest I use to retain our ideal customers and keep them coming back?
So I would definitely start with customer service. So make sure that you're providing excellent customer service, because if you're taking care of your customers, then they're definitely going to come back. So ensure that your customer service representatives, like your crew, your team that's going out there, people are answering the phone, that they're friendly, they're knowledgeable, and they're readily available to assist your customers. And train them to handle these questions. So some people may be really great people, and then others, they're just a wealth of information, but they're not sure how much time to spend on maybe a phone call with one of your customers. So sit down, define the expectations, make sure you're clear on your messaging and how you want to provide your services to your customers, because you don't want to give it all away for free. You want to do what's reasonable and make sure that they're taken care of, but you also have to be mindful that you and your team are looking at the time spent in your profit margin.
Okay, and one last question. What's the difference between unique offering and area of innovation?
So a unique offering is an exclusive like feature that is going to differentiate you in your product or service or brand from your competitor. So it could be your quality in your business. So, what you're providing, is it quality, or the benefit that sets apart a company from, what you're offering in the marketplace. So what are you doing that's different from your competitor? And it could be how you show up. Some of our customers, it's all about communication, and they'll say, you don't communicate like any other contractor in this area. Your team is so communicative. I know when they're showing up, I know when they're leaving the property. You guys are responsive. So a unique offering can be a specific product or service, a technology, or a unique brand identify that makes your brand stand out in the crowd. On the other hand, when you look at your area of innovation, it refers to the field or domain that companies or individuals are trying to innovate or create something new in. So it can be a process or a methodology or technology where businesses invest their resources to come up with new ideas or develop existing ones. So areas of innovation can be related to various fields. And I would say, some of our clients, they'll say, oh well, our area of innovation is organic, and they're like, we provide organic lawn care. Or so they'll really get into their program and make sure that how they're delivering the service and the products that they use are So, and others are, well, we're not going to have, organics. We're going to do everything, using the chemicals that we need to get the job done. But having the mix of that based off of your area, because you might have, let's say, if you're pest control, there could be a mix of pests that you're trying to treat. So making sure that you offer those with a certain blend of how you're showing up with your services can be a unique offering as well, or area of innovation.
All right. Well, that is all the time that we have today. We want to thank you, Christine. We really appreciate you joining us again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love presenting on this stuff, and I hope that it helps some of our business owners out there today.
Absolutely. And thank you to all of our attendees for joining us. We hope that you found this valuable, and remember to watch your inbox and social media feeds for information on our upcoming growth series and tips and tricks series webinars. Everyone, have a great day.